the good life, full of fun.
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another big, exciting day in the kitchen of cooking Italian with Joe. And I'm going to tell you why. We're not going to go to Italy today. We're going to go to the kitchen, the cucina of the Boreal family. And there's a great recipe, as you guys already know, penne alla vodka, or basically vodka sauce with penne pasta. And this is not, so no one starts yelling and screaming or putting their mean little posts underneath here. This is not an authentic Italian recipe. It's an authentic Italian-American recipe. So what happens in this recipe is we're going to add alcohol, vodka in this case, to the sauce. And what that does is it actually does two things. So the alcohol is going to actually break down some of the cellular wall of the tomato, and as a result it unleashes some other flavors. It actually breaks down, like a solvent, it actually breaks down some of that cellular structure, and that releases an enormous amount of flavor that you normally couldn't get at. That's one of the things it does. Two, it acts as an emulsifier. A lot of times when you're adding a water base with a fat base, they'll tend to want to separate, and then we're going to add a lot of fat to the water-based sauce. So in this case, it keeps everything blended. So let's go over some ingredients here. All right, so number one, we're going to start with that penne pasta. So I've got here a pound of the penne. As you're going to see distinctly, it's got those ridges, and it's got that nice little cut, that angle, that 45-degree angle, and then it's got a nice hole right through the center. And what the advantage of that is, and the uniqueness of any shape in pasta in Italian cooking, is going to be how it holds the sauce. Now, number two, we're going to start with some marinara sauce. So you can use whatever you want. I've got a link for my spaghetti or pasta sauce right here in the description, and I've got a video and the recipe. You can go right to my website at Cooking Italian with Joe, or you can grab your own sauce by all means, or don't scream at me here, guys, so just take it easy. But if you have a favorite jar sauce, don't yell. But if you got a big family and you're trying to make something quick and you haven't jarred your own sauce, or you ran out of your own jar sauce, you can grab some your favorite brand of jar sauce at the store, and you're going to go 4 cups of your favorite sauce. So I've got 1 cup of cream that we're going to add to it. Now the key on this is get that cream out early, because you want the cream at room temperature before you add it to the sauce. If not, what will happen is it'll heat the fat and the protein, and it'll curdle, it'll separate on you, right? And that doesn't look good. Number 3, what are we at? Number 4 is Parmigiano Reggiano, which is the king of cheeses. So I've got 1 cup, and I pushed it down a little bit, but I've got 1 cup of the Parmigiano Reggiano. If you can get it, and you can splurge on it, great. If not, you can get the Parmesan cheese. The key on this is we're going to use about 3/4 of a cup of the cheese to make the sauce, and then we're going to use a 1/4 cup to finish off our plate. And the Parmigiano Reggiano, oh, the flavor of that. It's got that bite, that sour, and almost that fermented, almost like a little yeast. I love it. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of butter. Now we've got some ground red pepper flake. Now here's my advice on this. I would add, and what I've got here in this recipe is 1/4 of a teaspoon of the red pepper. Why? I don't like it so hot, like a Fra Diavolo sauce, where like, oh my God, your face is sweating. If you do, by all means add more red pepper. What I like is just the backdrop of a little heat. It adds a little bit more complexity to the flavor. I think it enhances that flavor dramatically. Okay, next we've got the vodka, right? The vodka sauce. So you're going to want a really good premium vodka. Why? Because you're going to have some of the vodka flavor residual in the sauce. You'll probably cook off about 90% of it. So some of the vodkas are made with like a potato, some of them are made with a corn. So depending on flavor, I'm always going to go with a European high quality vodka, which is what I've got here. Okay, so we're going to use 1 cup of vodka. Now, guys, we're going to want some salt. So I've been using right now some gray sea salt. I ordered it from France. It's absolutely delicious. We've got some black pepper. The best you can do, always try to go with fresh ground pepper. And then we're going to use some olive oil. For some of my new people who don't know, I own a farm in Italy. It's in Puglia, Italy. It's just above the heel. And we make our own olive oil. We co-op with a group of farms to bottle and ship here to the United States some of the best olive oil you're ever going to have. It's true extra virgin. And our oil is a lot of flavor, a lot of punch. So it's grassy and earthy. It's got a little pepper kick to it. Absolutely delicious. You can grab it right on our website at Cooking Italian with Joe. show, or you can grab it right on our Facebook page, and we'll drop ship it right to your house. We call it a trip to Italy right in the bottom. All right, what do you say we get cooking? I'll meet you guys over at the stove. So I've got my cast iron pan. I love this. One, it's going to retain even heat. Two, it's white inside. I love that. It gives me a nice contrast in color. It also has a lot of height to it, so it's not going to splatter. So I've got a pan, and I always like to use a wooden. I've got an olive spoon that was made from our trees in Italy, Vico del Gargano in Puglia, Italy. So I'm going to use this. And I've got my sauce and my vodka. While this is going, I just started the water a few minutes ago for the pasta. So real simple here, what I'm gonna add is my tomato sauce, my pomodoro sauce, and my vodka. I'm gonna add my tomato sauce. Next, I'm gonna add my vodka sauce. I'm gonna get my heat going here, and then I'm gonna stir that in. We're gonna go ahead and cook this down about 10 to 20 minutes, depending on what it takes, because I wanna thicken this before I add any liquid to it. It's been about 20 minutes. Sauce is absolutely perfect. It's nice and thick. I want to show that to you. I've got all my other ingredients ready to go. Okay, so we're going to add them over here. I also got my water going over here for the pasta. So the minute I add my ingredients, that's going to be tip number one, right? When I add my ingredients, I'm going to start adding that pasta here to the water. So by the time the pasta is done, my sauce is done, okay? Number two, make sure that everything here is room temperature before you add it. Specifically and most importantly is gonna be that cream. Third, I'll tell you what really gets this to come out absolutely delicious. I mean, really kick it, cooking Italian with Joe style, is if you, I know it's a big buildup, is if you subscribe to our channel. So there's a red button right there. When you click that, what happens is any recipes, I do a blog, we call blogging with Borio, any trips I've got coming up to Italy, that'll come right to your notification box. It means a lot to me when you subscribe to our channel, and hey, it makes you part of the family, you know what I'm saying? I probably don't even need to tell you to get a bottle of olive oil, because you probably already purchased one, right? We're gonna send it right to your house, I'm telling you. Molto deleccio. All right, so you're gonna see how nice and thick that is. See that? I mean, it doesn't just stick and cover a spoon. It like literally stays on the spoon, right, until you tilt it. So first thing I wanna add is that cream. So what I like to do is just while I'm stirring nice and slow, I'm gonna put a little bit in at a time. And that really ensures any prevention of curdling. And we're just gonna finish up that last bit. You can see how nice and pink, beautiful, bright that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Next, I'm gonna add my 2 tablespoons of butter. Next, I'm gonna add my 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flake. Next, I'm gonna add my salt. So I'm only gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon, maybe a tad more. Give that a good stir. Next, I'm gonna do my fresh ground pepper. So I'm gonna add myself a really good 1/2 teaspoon to more of that fresh ground pepper. My heat's really low, so this is nice and hot. I got that cast iron. Next, I'm gonna add some Vito and Joe's olive oil, okay? So I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of the olive oil. Again, that's gonna add some earth, some grassy flavor to it. It adds that next layer of fat. And now I've got my Parmigiano Reggiano, okay? So I'm gonna add, again, about 3/4 cup here, and I wanna leave some back so I can top it off. So as my sauce is going, I'm gonna go ahead and add my pasta. And then I've got a nice big slotted spoon. So I've got my water salted. So this has got about 10 minutes when you start it, tops. And then I've got my sauce going here after I added all the ingredients. So while this is cooking for that 10 minutes to 15 minutes while you're prepping your pasta, that's gonna marry all those flavors. So by the time this is done, this should be done or pretty close to it. I'll talk to you guys in about 10 minutes. Sauce is done, and I'm telling you, the aroma in here, unbelievable. My pasta's done, right? So I'll show you a real quick way to do this. So let's deal with the pasta first. I shut the heat off on our sauce. So on the pasta, what I want to do is I'm going to take some olive oil. So obviously Vito and Joe's, right? I'm going to pour a splash right in the bottom of my pan. I'm going to shut my heat off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pasta. Now you can have a little bit of the pasta water if you have to, and then just give it a quick stir, and then you're going to get that oil all over it at that point. And I'll show you why that's so awesome. One, to get the olive oil all over the place. Two, we want to create something to get a little adherence to the pasta. Now that I have that Vito and Joe's, everything's going to stick. So I want to get some pepper on my pasta. I'm going to add like 1/8 teaspoon of salt, which will dissolve. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of my cheese. And then I'm gonna give this a stir, because now I've got everything sticking on the pasta, inside the pasta, on the ridges of the pasta. Now we're gonna add that vodka sauce. So look at that, is that just beautiful, right? So I'm gonna go put that over my seasoned pasta, give it a stir. I threw a little parsley on there, just to make it look awesome. And then I'm gonna hit a little bit of my cheese. Now while this is hot, it'll start to melt. Oh, does that look good or what? Guys, my favorite time, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna hit 1 scoop there. And now I've got some, and remember I held back that Parmigiano Reggiano. I'm just gonna take a pinch, just a pinch, and hit that over the top. Oh, and then we're gonna get in there. Oh, penne is cooked perfectly, right? Then you got the cheese, the sauce. See how the sauce is inside the tubes? All throughout, and it's all on the ridges, held up beautiful. All right, open up, here you go, here you go. Oh, my favorite time. First thing you hit you is a tomato, and it's creamy. And you got the butter, the cream, and now you can taste all the flavors of your great sauce, right? You know, the garlic and the oregano, the basil. You just feel a little bit of that heat. I gotta tell you, not that this will surprise you, but the pasta, al dente, perfecto. I mean, it's perfectly cooked. The creaminess of the sauce, just perfect. You give me a few more minutes in this kitchen right now, no one's gonna have a taste of any vodka sauce. I'm gonna eat that whole bowl. That's how good that stuff is. Woo! Man, that's good. Guys, thanks so much for joining me today in the kitchen. Remember, hit that red button, subscribe to the channel, make you part of the family. Make sure you go on our website or our Facebook page and grab yourself a bottle of Vito and Joe's extra virgin olive oil. We'll drop ship it right to your house. Truly a trip to Italy right in the bottle. And remember, guys, today, think about this, you know, set that time with your family in the kitchen. Shut off the television, the computer, the cell phone, the iPads, put them in a basket. Tell everybody off their electronics, including you parents, you know what I'm saying? And sit around the table and make a mess and tell some stories, celebrate your heritage, set some traditions. As I always tell you, they will last a lifetime. I know they certainly did for me, guys. Hey, from my kitchen to yours, until next week, mwah, bon appetito.
Full of fun seems to be the